Hi everybody, welcome back to the Data RE channel. In this video, we are going to explore the essential settings you should configure before starting with Power BI Desktop. These settings are often overlooked, but they can make a huge difference in how smoothly your reports run, how accurate your data is, and how efficient your workflow becomes. Think of it in this way. If you set up Power BI correctly at the beginning, you save hours of troubleshooting later. So let's dive in and make sure your environment is ready for success. Here is what we will cover step by step. Options and settings in Power BI Desktop, the main parts of options and settings, global vs current file settings, key global settings you should configure and the most important settings, data load, regional settings, privacy updates, save and recover, and Copilot. Options and settings is the control center of Power BI Desktop. Here you can customize Power BI's behavior, manage privacy levels, adjust data source credentials, enable preview features. This is where you define how Power BI interacts with your data and how the application behaves overall. Options and settings in Power BI consist of two main parts: options, data source settings. Each of these plays a different role in how Power BI works. Let's start with options section. This is where you control the overall environment of Power BI Desktop. Options are divided into two categories: global settings and current file settings. Global is your default workspace, while current file is your custom adjustments for one report. Now let us go through the data source setting. This section is all about managing how Power BI connects to your data. Here you can change source path if a dataset moves. For example, when an Excel file is relocated, edit credentials to update login details for databases, APIs, or cloud sources, set privacy levels to control how data from different sources is combined. This is critical for secure modeling. And clear permissions if you want to remove saved credentials and reconnect fresh. Think of data source settings as the place where you manage the security and connectivity side of Power BI. As a summary, we can say data source settings manage how Power BI connects to your data, paths, credentials, privacy, and permissions, and options controls the environment with global settings for all reports and current file settings for the ones you're working on. We go deeper into the global options and look at the specific settings you should activate or deactivate for smoother performance and accurate results. Now let's break down the difference between global settings and current file settings in Power BI Desktop. This is a key concept because it determines whether your changes apply everywhere or just to the report you are working on. First, we have global settings. These apply to all reports you create or open in Power BI Desktop. They define your default environment, things like performance, options, security rules, and personalizations across the entire application. The best practice is to configure this once before you start working with Power BI. That way, every report you build will follow the same consistent setup. Next, we have current file settings. These apply only to the report you currently have open. They let you fine-tune behavior, privacy, and performance for a single file. This is especially useful when a report has unique requirements. For example, handling a large dataset or applying special privacy rules. Adjust these settings only when a report needs something different from your global defaults. So here is the takeaway. Global setting, your default environment across all reports, configure them once and they will apply everywhere. Current file settings, custom adjustments for one report, use them when you need special handling for performance, privacy, or data size. We dive deeper into the global settings and look at which one you should activate or deactivate for smoother performance. We are going to explore the global settings under options. These settings define the default environment for Power BI Desktop. Things like performance, privacy, language, and even AI assistant. Configure them once and they will apply to every report you create. Let's go through them step by step. Data load. First up is data load. This controls how data is imported and refreshed. You can enable background data previews, which helps when working with small data sets. You can auto-detect relationships between tables, saving time during modeling, and you can set default privacy levels to ensure secure data handling. Best practice is keep background previews on for small models, off for large ones. Next is the Power Query data. These settings control how queries behave. Background previews lets you see transformations as you apply them. Auto-detect column types saves time but can sometimes misinterpret data. Fast data load improves performance when importing large data sets. Direct query is all about live connections to databases. Here you can manage query reductions, set timeouts, and fine-tune performance. This is critical when working with enterprise systems like SQL Server or SAP, where query efficiency directly impacts report speed. For advanced analytics, Power BI lets you integrate R and Python scripts. In R scripting, you configure the path to your R installation and script execution settings. In Python scripting, you define the Python environment and installation path. These are powerful tools for statistical analysis, machine learning, and custom visuals. Security settings control certificate validation, authentication, and other defaults. This ensures that your data sources are trusted and connections are secure. Privacy defines how Power BI combines data from different sources. You can set privacy levels as public, organizational, or private. This is essential for secure modeling, especially when mixing sensitive and non-sensitive data. Regional setting. Regional setting defines your default local language and formatting. This affects how dates, times, and numbers appears across all reports. Updates manage how Power BI Desktop stays current. You can activate automatic update checks, enable auto-install, and choose your update channel. Best practice is to stay on the monthly channel to access new features and fixes. Usage data lets you decide whether to send anonymous usage information to Microsoft. Turning it on helps improve for Power BI, but you can deactivate it for your organization restricts data sharing. Diagnostics provides logging and tracing options. This is useful for troubleshooting performance or connectivity issues. Preview features lets you enable experimental or upcoming Power BI features before they are officially released. This is great for staying ahead of the curve, but remember, preview features may change or be unstable. Save and recover protects your work in case of crashes. You can enable autosave and set recovery interval, usually 5 to 10 minutes. Always keep this on to avoid losing progress. Report settings define how reports behave by default. For example, whether filters are saved or if users can't personalize visuals. This helps create a consistent experience across all reports. And finally, Copilot. This is Power BI's AI-powered assistant. It can generate DAX measures, create summarizes, and even explain your data in natural languages. Activate it if you want faster productivity and guidance. Deactivate only if your organization restricts AI features. We go step by step through the most important global settings under options: data load, regional settings, privacy, updates, save and recover, Copilot. By the end, you will know exactly which settings to activate or deactivate to make Power BI run smoothly and efficiently. Alright, let's move into one of the most important areas of Power BI's global options, the data load settings. These settings control how your data is imported, refreshed, and how Power BI handles time intelligence. Getting this right can save you a lot of performance headaches later. First, let's talk about background data. When this is activated, Power BI will refresh previews in the background while you work. This is great for small datasets because it lets you see transformations instantly in the Power Query editor. But if you're working with large or complex models, background refresh can slow things down. In those cases, it's better to deactivate it so Power BI doesn't waste resources constantly updating previews. And let's look at time intelligence, also known as auto-date time. When activated, Power BI automatically creates hidden date tables for every date field in your model. This makes it easy to use built-in functions like year to date, month to date, or previous year without building a date table yourself. This is perfect if you're a beginner or working with small, simple models. It saves time and makes quick analysis easy. But for professional, large, or complex models, auto-date time can actually cause problems. It creates hidden tables for every date column, which can bloat your model and slow performance. Plus, it limits flexibility, for example, if you need fiscal calendars or custom hierarchies. Best practice in those cases is to deactivate auto-date time and instead create a dedicated date table, mark it as a date table in Power BI, and you will have full control over your time intelligence calculations. Let's move on to another important part of Power BI's global options, the language settings. These settings might seem small, but they have a big impact on how you and your audience experience your reports. First, we have the application language. This controls the interface language of Power BI Desktop, things like menus, ribbons, and dialog boxes. The best practice is to keep it set to your system language, so Power BI matches your operating system. But you can override it if needed. For example, if your system is in German but you're teaching class in English, you can switch the interface to English so your audience follows along more easily. In my case, my application is in English. Next is the model language. This defines the default language for your data model, meaning the names of tables, columns, and measures. The key here is consistency with your audience. If you're building reports for a German team, keep the model language in German. If you're working on an international project, English is often the best choice for compatibility. Remember, you can always add translations later, but the base model language should be stable. The model that I'm going to prepare are also in English, so everything stays consistent. There is also a setting for the query language. Here you can choose between using the application language or always English. Since my application is already in English, there is no difference between the two options in my setup. Privacy levels in Power BI Desktop. These features plays a key role in keeping your data secure when combining information from different sources. To access this setting, go to Power BI Desktop, Options and Settings, Global, and Privacy. This is where you control how Power BI manages data privacy when queries pull from multiple sources. So what is the purpose of this option? It ensures that sensitive data from one source isn't accidentally exposed to another during transformations. Think of it as a safeguard that keeps your private data from leaking into places it shouldn't. The recommended activation is always combine data according to your privacy level settings for each source. This means Power BI will respect the privacy levels you assign, whether that's private, organizational, or public. In secure environments, this setting is essential. It guarantees that Power BI follows the rules you've set for each data source, protecting sensitive information while still allowing you to combine and analyze data effectively. So next time you're working with multiple data sources, make sure your privacy levels are properly configured. It's a small step that makes a big difference in keeping your data safe. Update settings in Power BI Desktop. These options determine how your applications stay current with the latest features, fixes, and improvements. You can find these settings by navigating to Power BI Desktop, Options and Settings, Global Updates. This is where you control how Power BI handles notifications and installations of new versions. You can choose whether Power BI should notify you when a new version is available. Activate this if you want to stay informed and keep your tool up to date. Deactivate only if you are in a control IT environment where updates are managed centrally. One of the most important safety nets in Power BI Desktop is the auto recovery feature. You'll find it under Power BI Desktop, Options and Settings, Global Auto Recovery. Here is why it matters. Imagine you've been working on a complex report for hours and suddenly your computer crashes or Power BI closes unexpectedly. Without auto recovery, all that progress could be lost. But with it turned on, Power BI automatically saves recovery information in the background so you can restore your work when you reopen the app. Always keep auto recovery on. It's your insurance policy against losing work. By default, Power BI saves recovery information every 10 minutes. That's fine for most users. But if you're doing heavy modeling or working with large datasets, you might want to reduce the interval to 5 minutes. That way, you're never more than a few minutes away from a safe restore point. Now let's look at the save settings found here. Power BI Desktop, Options and Settings, Global, Save. These options gives you control over how your files are saved and protected. Enable autosave for recovery information. This work hand in hand with auto recovery, making sure you don't lose progress if something goes wrong. Use the default folder location wisely. Think of this as your home base for Power BI projects. So set it to a secure or well-organized workspace so your files are easy to find and properly managed. For example, you might choose a dedicated project folder or a company-approved directory. Together, auto recovery and save settings create a strong safety net. They protect your work from unexpected crashes, prevent accidental overwrites, and keep your files organized. For anyone working with data, whether you're building dashboards, running analysis, or modeling complex relationships, these settings are essentials for peace of mind and productivity. Copilot setting. This feature brings AI-powered assistance directly into your workflow, making it easier than ever to build reports and uncover insights. You will find this option under Power BI Desktop Options and Settings, Global, and Copilot. This is where you can turn on AI-driven features that helps you work smarter, not harder. So what does Copilot actually do? It helps you generate DAX measures without needing to memorize complex formulas. It can create summaries and explanations of your data. It allows you to interact with your data model using natural language queries. Just type what you want to know and Copilot translates it into insights. And it assists with report building, guiding you toward meaningful visuals and analysis. Thanks for joining me on this ride. I'm Arefa, a business intelligence data analyst in Germany. Power BI isn't just a tool, it's a mindset. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is ready to level up their data game. Keep exploring, keep building, and keep going.